Omar Fateh. So as of right now, Omar Fateh, the mayoral candidate in Minnesota who's Somali and has become a target for the right wing of Twitter, he is now polling at according to Kalshi, Omar Fateh has a 35% chance of becoming Minnesota's mayor. Now, this is outraged people. He previously had slightly higher odds, and they dipped, and now they're climbing back up again. Now, Omar Fateh, we can play a couple clips from him, but this is notable since Somali only comprise about 15% of the Minneapolis population. So it's a big contingent, and everywhere I went in the Somali communities, Omar Fateh signs everywhere. They love him. They love him. They love him. He represents them kind of like Ilhan Omar. In some circles, they talk about him in almost not religious terms, but I'll tell you, I talked to one female entrepreneur who's saying that Ilhan Omar is her idol. Like, she used that term. We have it on camera. And similarly, he kind of has that vibe of people love him. And so he has that control, but he also has an alliance with the left wing of the Minneapolis Democratic base. And that's embodied by the fact that other progressive candidates running have allied among themselves in Minneapolis' ranked choice voting, where they're all doing a don't vote for Frey, don't rank Frey, or Jacob Frey. That's how you pronounce his name. It's Frey, but you pronounce it Frey. And so basically, he has an alliance with other progressive candidates to not rank Frey in their ranked choice voting. And he also is getting almost support for how much of a target he is on X, where people almost sympathize with him. But we can play some clips that have made him a target on X. But again, Jacob Frey is a liberal mayor. He speaks in Somali in ads. He joins all the Somali celebrations. He recently said he wants to visit Somalia as a country. This is not some right-wing xenophobe. And he was also a standard bearer of the BLM movement. And even though he didn't, usher in all the policies they wanted, he was still very much involved. So let's get a couple of Fateh clips up.
Just worth noting before we get to the clip that Ranked Choice Alliance, Mamdani did that with Brad Lander, the city comptroller, against Andrew Cuomo. It's like part of the progressive playbook now. It's
big. So here's an ad of his.
Sorry, just one more side on that. The whole point of ranked choice voting was to lead to moderation. And that just that was the promise.
Freaking point. So. Great freaking point. So we'll start with a clip of him because you can't just get his worst moments. So let's get.
We all start our days in different ways, but we're all trying to get to the same place: a vibrant city filled with the love of family, friends, and neighbors. That's what makes Minneapolis home.
Went there.
We choose to live here.
Really?
Yeah.
We raise our families here. We start our businesses here. We make our lives here. We work hard for the city we love. And
what
we
does that guy do? He's got a screwdriver on a lamppost.
I'm Senator Omar Fateh, and I'm running for mayor of Minneapolis.
I will say
From the
this.
Streets to City Hall.
Here, we can pause it. Just that's a sense of they call him a Zoran of the Midwest because obviously he's Muslim, he's a minority, and he also African. Although I mean, Mamdani's Indian, even though he lived in Uganda, right?
Yeah,
but they're
both.
Yeah, he kind of claims both, but not claims. Like it's some outrageous, like he is both. But one difference is he's much less charismatic and much more soft-spoken than his clips would suggest. And I ran into him. He wouldn't do an interview. And I think it had less to do with him and more his staff. I actually looked up the profile of the woman Raquel who wouldn't talk to me. Red, purple, dyed hair, super leftist. Goes to Star Trek conventions, like just someone who probably sees us with the camera and goes, they're here for a hit piece, even though we're obviously not. And but let's play a couple clips of Fateh and sort of the other side of, or at least some of the. This one isn't even that controversial. This isn't like a gaffe or anything. This is just him listing his. Yeah.
What would be some of your top 2-3 priorities for the city?
So that's a very good question. So the first I would say would be a hostile federal government with not only Donald Trump in office, but he has essentially a trifecta, both chambers of Congress and the Supreme Court. And a lot of our neighbors, especially our undocumented residents, are very concerned.
So that's his number one priority. And then I think we may have another clip of him talking about here. Yeah, this one.
Terrorists, we heard them being called drug dealers. We heard a lot of insults. We heard that they're a threat to our national security. And that's a flat out lie. You want to know who the real threat is, Madam President? I'll give you a hint. They don't look like our chief author. They don't look like the folks up in the gallery. They don't look like the folks out in the rotunda. They look like many of the members that sit in the front. And you don't have to take my word for it.
He's saying white
According
people.
to DHS, Madam President, the greatest domestic threat facing the United States comes from, quote, racially or ethnically motivated violent extremists, specifically those who advocate for the superiority of the white race, not our immigrants. We are safer and we're better off because of them. Them being called.
So he goes on that, and I think one striking thing about that clip is it perfectly mirrors something Ilhan Omar has said multiple times. One, with our boy Mehdi Hassan, our boy, we interviewed him once, but where she said that we should be more afraid of white people, white men specifically. And so that's the kind of sentiment. And by the way, Ilhan Omar just endorsed Fateh, which really helps because she's a popular congresswoman there.
One thing that Nick, who shot the videos with you, I believe, told me the other day was that people said in Minneapolis that it was that in America you're not supposed to assimilate, or in essence that he said that someone there said, in America the way immigrants work is they're supposed to kind of keep to themselves. Were you there for the conversation?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, we heard a version of that a couple times. I wonder which one he's referencing.
Well, it's just, to me, it's notable because it's very different from our experience everywhere else in the country.
Totally. No, it's funny. What I will say is the Somali population is the most isolated and self-contained I've seen. And with the exception, I would say, of a couple that come to mind, the Amish in Lancaster and the Hasidic Jewish community in Brooklyn. I would say those two come to mind where there's some interaction, mostly commercial, with other groups, but generally they keep to themselves. Now, the Amish are kind of their own beast. I think what's significant, though, is, it's like there aren't Amish congresswomen, who are like the leading and most viral members of our legislative branch. And I think you see, especially with Omar Fateh, even if he doesn't win this mayoral race, he's going to be a force. He may go to the next most Somali district. I don't know if they have enough population actually for him to get elected, but he'll be relevant. All that to say, maybe he'll go into some national org or TV or podcasting, whatever.